Welcome back to Comic Book Nation, Season 7, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I'm your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and joining us again, Mr. Evan Valentine. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody?
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, quick housekeeping notes. If you are just asking, we see the chat. We are back live. Yes, last week it was Halloween. Was that just last weekend that was Halloween? I can't remember.
Yep, last Friday.
It was Halloween last week, and our video team had been hard at work. They had some scheduled time off, so we just did a audio only episode, which means that went off the rails. We were on here for a while. We were chatting about all kinds of stuff. So go and download that audio-only episode if you are one of our live listeners. If you're an audio listener, you probably just didn't even miss a beat. So get on the live chat because it's also it's pretty hot over here. All right. So shout out to everybody in the chat who's up with us today on this episode today. Like I said, Halloween was last week, but you wouldn't know it around here because today our two big reviews are a Predator movie and a Frankenstein movie. So it's like Halloween never
crazy.
It's like we never even happened. Oh, even in the comics, we got to talk about Captain America taking on aliens and a whole bunch of other stuff that happened this week. So let's just no further ado. You all know what it is. This episode is once again sponsored by Global Comics. Global Comics is the digital comic service that gives you 100,000 comics for basically the price of one comic book. And if you sign up for your gold membership, you will have access to both new issues, back issues, and really kind of treasured collections from all the major publishers. They are now live with both Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, all your favorites, and some of the independents. So go check out Global Comics and get your gold membership started today so you too can be immersed in the world of comics along with this nation of people I share with every week. All right. Every week we also like to tell you how much it is of use to you to be on Global Comics by Matt showing you a pick of the week that resonates with everything we got going on at comicbook.com. So Matt, what is your Global Comics pick of the week this week?
Well, you know what? I'm going to stay in the Halloween theme then. If we're just, post-Halloween. I'm going to say there was a recent revival, I will say, of the Witchblade series. And I am a huge Witchblade fan. You can find, if you want to catch up, they are well into kind of the second full arc of the new Witchblade series, and also The Darkness is coming, and we're starting to tap into all of that cross fun that I loved as a 90s kid, and now we're starting to actually get that in the new series as well. And I feel like the new Witchblade series has kind of gone under the radar a little bit, but it's been trucking along, doing big things, and I just wanted to give it some shine because I'm enjoying it, and now we're really hitting the gas. And for 90s fans, I feel like it's just going to get better from here. So go catch up on the series right now on Global Comics Gold.
All right. Thank you, Matt. That is your pick of the week. You can check out Global Comics. That is Global Comics with an X at the end, all one word. Go check out the service. Thank you again. All right. Let's get to our geek news this week. We have a couple trailers to go over. Matt, tell us what's going on with Marvel's latest marketing campaign. I'm enjoying this. Personally, I'm enjoying it. How are you guys feeling about like this viral kind of marketing we're getting from Marvel's? We have another big Marvel show coming this year. Can you believe that? This year, right? No, is it early next year?
Yeah, January 27th, I believe.
I forget. Everything's been flipped so much. I keep forgetting what Marvel Matrix we're in.
I mean,
yes,
that's almost like this year.
We're talking about
It's
Man.
smart. It's like a Taylor Swift release date, though. Like, you mean,
Oh, wow.
Stranger Things is about to eat up everything. So you just
Yeah,
gotta
it is.
Nobody's
Yeah.
dropping until after Stranger Things. So,
I don't see Wonder Man pulling a GTA, and so it looks like it's gonna hit its date.
We didn't. Yo, stop the show. Stop the show. Because I didn't even put this in the rundown. But no, let's knock that right up to the top. Let's talk. Let's talk about what the hell Grand Theft Auto just did to all of us and how it violated. Man, we are now not getting GTA 6 until what? What is it? Next November?
November 19th.
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving. Yeah, next year. Oh my God.
This is getting a little out of hand.
Yeah, that is. I mean, we knew like Matt. I think it was Matt. Matt has been kind of prophetic about something. He's been skeptical. I give it to you. Like, give this man on the mic his slow clap because Matt was on this. He didn't believe it because we did. If you remember back in the true old times when we had like multiple podcasts out here and we were kind of scrambling, we did a live reaction to the drop of that first trailer. And even from that point on, discussing it, Matt was like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it coming out. Like, and so here we are, my buddy. You are validated. And don't think I don't listen. I remember. I keep receipts on this podcast. I got a whole list of things all of you have said just so I can get back at you in case it goes my way. And cross it off in case it doesn't go my way. But yeah, so Matt, take your victory lap. How you feeling? Get something off here.
I'm bummed, right? Because I want to play this. But it's just the thing with Rockstar and also with this high profile of a project. Like GTA is not something that you rush and screw up, right? So and Rockstar has shown they will not. They're kind of entering like old Blizzard territory.
But like, is that rushing?
Well, but like it was at one point going to hit this year, and for them. They are Blizzard used to be this way. They're not this way anymore, really, but they used to be this way where like Blizzard would release a game when they were good and ready, and that might be 10 years. I'd be like, no, it's not done. It'll be done when it's done, right? That was their old kind of motto. And Rockstar has taken that. And now we're on the second delay. Now we're inching really close to 2027 territory. I don't know if it gets delayed again, but it could. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it actually probably ends up making that date. But there was no way it was hitting in 2025. Their big thing of like, oh, it's coming. Nah, that wasn't happening. You don't take that big a risk with GTA. You got to get these.
That trailer being 2 years old is going to be so crazy. That's so crazy.
That's wild.
That's so crazy. Like, why did you even drop the trailer? Like, should have just saved the trailer for this year, man. Like, you could have given us a better trailer.
I think they had to though, right? Because didn't it get leaked?
I don't know.
I think that's.
I don't remember.
This has been stuff,
bro. I was playing GTA 5 when my wife was pregnant with my first kid. My kid's gonna be smoking cigarettes before this thing is out, like on PlayStation, looking at me like, "What do you want?"
I saw your post. You're like, I can't even lift her up anymore to take this picture of us at the movie theater, and it's like,
oh yeah, oh no, she's 10. This is crazy. It's been, yeah, it's gonna be like, and what is it? We were talking now, 2026. Yeah, she's gonna be 11 by the time this thing comes out. This is nuts. And she was in the belly, so that's really that's the 12 right there. So like, yeah, this is insane. Yeah, I've lived a whole ass life as a dad before I've gotten to GTA 6. Do I even want to just roll around and rob people anymore? Not really. But, like,
I feel like I've grown past that.
Yeah, I've grown past this. I feel like, yeah. Oh man, so like this is crazy, but I mean, I guess make it great. I assume we'll still be here by then. So cool. Like
the real ones will be.
I mean, we're all gonna play it.
Yeah.
No, I meant like the world, not like all of us.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, like no.
Boy, I hope the world still exists.
World, yeah. Or that like we still have access to things like first world problems, like video games, like So
there's one dude in the desert with his TV set up, hooked to like an external power supply that he's rigged together. He's just playing a test build of GTA 6.
Yes, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto will outlast all of us.
Yeah, he'll just be because he'll be in the grid while this all happens and he'll come out just like COVID. Do you remember that dude in COVID? He was literally like out in the desert. He came back and he was like, "What happened?" And everybody was like, "Where have you been?" And he was like, "In the desert." And everybody's like, "Yeah, that tracks for you, Leto."
Yeah, that tracks for him. Yeah, that's about right.
Oh my god.
Oh,
like,
so
"Where is
Wonder Man.
everybody?"
Yeah, Wonder Man. I don't know
Oh.
anything about this, and I
So
was
anyway,
confused by the
Wonder Man.
trailer.
Everybody, so Wonder Man, we're going the Scream route, right? Like Marvel's going the Scream meta route where they're doing a remake of an old Marvel hero with this thing. And I'm kind of messing with this because I think they're doing I think Marvel's doing a good job with this kind of meta humor. Like there's levels to it. There's kind of the obvious humor we're seeing, but there's also deeper levels from like the casting of the black protagonist possibly being a part of this in the modern reboot and that whole commentary. And like it just, there's going to be a lot of Hollywood humor I can already see in this about like working actors and like the struggle of trying to act and make stuff in these days and times, kind of like the studio. So if this is kind of Marvel's The Studio with a superhero bend and kind of surrealist, like I'm not against that. Like, I think that could be some of the more fun stuff we've done with this content in a little bit. I mean, people have been kind of down on it, but isn't this what we liked about WandaVision? Wasn't that the allure? Was the commentary on TV and TV culture and the satire and all that? So I'm here for it. And you get Trevor Slattery back. So I'm also here for that.
Talk about that reclamation project. Like that, taking where that character came from and all that stuff. And now I do love that line in the trailer. Yeah, I think he was a where do I know him from? Oh, I think he was a terrorist. That made me laugh. I was like, okay, he's gonna steal the show. It's just about like you just have this feeling like him and the director are gonna kind of steal the show. And I don't know. I mean, this comes from this comes from the person who isn't as high on WandaVision as many other people. I know I'm in the minority. I don't care about Wonder Man as a character in the comics, so I have no bias there either. I just
no love for
I don't know
Simon
about this
Williams?
show.
What?
I don't know about this show, man.
I was a 90s kid.
This trailer
kid. I got a special place for Wonder Man.
I don't know. This is very like I like meta-ness as part of a show because like I enjoyed She-Hulk, right? So I'm totally cool with like breaking the fourth wall, and I like meta nature of things and all that. This whole thing is completely meta, and I don't know. I'm hoping it'll kind of get me when the show is actually out and I can see what everything else is about. But it's just not grabbing me right now.
Can I say, like, I was very confused. Like, as someone who does not know anything about Wonder Man, didn't even know about this film. I feel like an idiot sleeping under a rock, apparently. I had no idea what this was. And I'm obviously excited because it's superhero content. I get to read some more comics to prep for it and everything else. But for the normies, like the people who don't know this character and who are just casual like Marvel fans or just like comic book content fans who see like Disney at I kept looking, I'm like, this is on Disney, is this Marvel? Like, no, surely it's not Marvel. Like I would know what this is. Like I don't know if this trailer is a great representation or like it's a good teaser for people because it didn't pull me in. It just confused me. I didn't know what it was. So I didn't understand the cheekiness meta thing about it. I was just confused by it. And especially at the end, he seems like weird going into that audition. And they're like, we're making sure that you aren't a superhero. Well, I saw the cup jiggle, and so clearly he has powers. I figured that out, but it wasn't clear. And he seemed like perturbed or like scared or something for the audition. And I was like, who are you? Like, you're not intriguing me. You're making me feel weird. Like, are you a villain even? Like that, I'm just saying for peeps who don't know, it's confusing. It's not clear. And I feel like they need a little bit more of like a poppy Marvel type trailer to like get normies in.
Yeah, I think that like this trailer didn't really hook me in the way, and it's like as long as it gives us as a comic book head, obviously, like as long as it gives us an eventual Simon Williams, Kelsey Grammer Beast team up, I'm good. I'm good with that in the future. But like, yeah, I totally feel you, Janelle. I think that like, and man, Wonder Man's such a weird character. Like, if you don't know, like the whole, he's powered by ions, his ionic energy. He's had all these different versions of him. Just read Forceworks to shout out Forceworks. But like, it's kind of taking an
Forceworks
interesting
rocked.
angle. I think that like this might come across as something like a its own independent kind of thing. Like, I mean, unfortunately, like I do want to see characters like Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Werewolf by Night. I want to see these characters come back, but like they just kind of feel like at this point they're kind of their own island. And I think that that's kind of what this is going to be, where like, yeah, it's an interesting thing. It obviously Trevor Slattery is coming back and everything for this, but we just have to kind of see more. Also, I have to throw a shout out because I actually have an old friend, Demetrius Gross, who is playing the part of the Grim Reaper in this, which is still wild to me. Shout out Demetrius, he went to my high school. And yeah, he's playing Simon's brother. I don't know how on earth he's going to show up as the Grim Reaper or if he's going to become the Grim Reaper in this, but I had to throw that out there. But I'm hesitantly excited for this. I think like it is going in some weird directions. It'll be very I thought originally when I saw this, I was like, is he even going to get superpowers? Like, because like, will he become like the Wonder Man of the comics? And I guess, you know, we don't know, but like, yeah, we'll see.
Okay. I just want to get some points clear for anybody listening or watching, just so we all are on the same page. First, this is a mini series, so this is a Disney Plus mini series, not a film. That's just one thing to get clear for everybody. Two, these are a series. This is a teaser, but this is the second one. They're doing the kind of viral marketing approach. So the first one, if you haven't seen it, and I assumed kind of, you know, we had all seen it, but just in case we haven't, there's another one out that is more along the lines of a authentic press announcement about the Wonder Man reboot, with the director delivering his kind of monologue about what this new version will bring, at once telling you about the show, but also within the show telling you about the film they're going to create. And that one only ended with Yaya being kind of like at the very end thrown onto the screen as, you know, will we find a new person to play like Simon Williams, and being like, and then you were like, huh? So this one is kind of continuing now with who he is as an actor from his perspective and kind of going that. And so yes, to Janelle's point, I think as you see this progress, what you're going to see is building up to that actual Marvel trailer where we see the larger scope of the story, the superpowers, the Grim Reaper stuff, like what that's all about. But I think they're doing a viral marketing kind of throwback to the 2000s style, kind of trickling this out as without telling you exactly what the project is right up front. Like I said, the first one, if you didn't know anything, you would think this was an announcement from Marvel about a Wonder Man reboot, but it's actually the show. So, I don't have all the details yet. I think it might be 6 or 8 episodes. Somebody's asking in the chat. But we can look that up in a second. But yeah. So just those 2 points to get clear about like where we are, because yeah, it is disconcerting just kind of coming into this as if this is just a singular trailer. But that said, yeah, I like how they're doing this. I like at this point for Marvel, I'm almost in the opposite camp. I don't want to see just the same thing. It's 8 episodes to answer the chat. 8 episodes. First 2 directed by your boy Destin Daniel Cretton, director of Shang-Chi and Spider-Man Brand New Day. So
oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he will be directing the first 2 episodes. Yep. And was written by Andrew Guest, who did 30 Rock, Community, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and was one of the producers on Hawkeye. So I feel like we're in good territory here. The 30 Rock alone makes me confident that we can hammer this out. So I'm pretty confident in this. I think this could be a sleeper. Will everybody get it? I don't know. But I think for me at this point, as a fan and a longtime customer, what I'm looking for from Marvel is something different. Like I can't swallow another one of these standard formula superhero anythings. I can't do one of these standard series. So I'm almost more worried that this series will peter out of the meta-ness very quickly. Like it'll be an episode or two of that before then we roll into the traditional thing in the back half. And that's where I'm more worried. Mark me down. I'm saying it here. That's where I'm more worried that we're going to end up. It's just like, oh, it had promise and then it just kind of went standard.
Yeah, I get it.
But we'll see. But it's a weird one. But I like the weird rollout at least because, yeah, we saw, I mean, when I saw the trailers for like Ironheart or Echo, I was like, oh boy. Like, yeah, they just kind of went real typical with it. And I was like, yeah. But then, we also had Agatha. So it's been a mixed bag. We'll see. We'll see. All right. That was a lot more time dedicated to Wonder Man than I thought we were going to do. But, good talk on that because it is like a strange
Well,
project.
then Marvel got what they wanted, really, because they got people talking about Wonder Man in 2025.
Wonder Man. Can the show do what Marvel wants? Man, I don't know. All right, let's move on. Janelle, the next one for the person who loves to moonwalk a lot. This one was for you. So take it away.
Yeah, the Michael Jackson trailer dropped. Again, another one that I completely forgot. I mean, obviously I knew it was coming out, but I completely forgot that it was coming out because I think it was 2019 when they first started like mumbling about this, I think. And it like during like COVID and writer strikes and all these things, like it just got lost for me. I just totally forgot. The big thing about this is very exciting for me is that his nephew is playing him. So it is his first time ever acting, I think, pretty sure. So, that's a very heavy burden to bear. Like your first time acting, you're in a huge film and it is playing a legend. But whenever like family is tied to these projects, you wonder, are we going to get the real story, the full story, like the good, bad, the ugly? I'm not quite sure. This doesn't really show any of the ugly. This shows the flash, the music, the like humor, like him giggling and like interacting. So it doesn't really show any struggle or like the bad things about his story in this trailer. But I'm sure we'll see that. I just think this is kind of like a little like tease, like, hey, it's gonna have great music. Check out the person who's playing Michael and get excited that it's coming. I'm pumped because I love Michael, but I don't know how everybody else is feeling about it.
I'm not scared. Yeah. Look, it's a biopic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just sat through the Springsteen one, which was my daddy was mean to me when I was young, like, and I'm not trying to judge the man about it, but it was, I mean, because there were parts of it that spoke to me about like the overbearingness of being a father, all that stuff, what you inherit, all that stuff spoke to me. But these are biopics, right? Like we all have to kind of step back and admit that unless the person's life was like defined by like addiction or something, like we're not gonna do a certain kind of job. Like we all sat through, Straight Outta Compton, and I'm sure there was a lot more NWA was up to that wasn't so glamorous that we didn't do in that movie. On the other end of the spectrum, did I want to see the Freddie Mercury movie when Freddie was at his deepest on barbiturates and self-loathing and just, slutting out? No, I don't want to see that in a movie. Like, I don't need that. Like, these are kind of tall tale portrayals of these very big public figures. So there's always going to be a touch of drama, a hint of dirtiness, but mostly the kind of grand spectacle, shining image of their life symbolism, impact, all that stuff. Like, that's why the movie's getting made in the first place. So, yeah, and families keep it real, but nobody's going to put everybody's dirty laundry and dirtiest laundry out for the world on a big screen. Like, save that for a deep biography book. You know what I mean? Like, and that's got to usually come from the person who's going to be willing to tell you some stuff. Like,
I think the story behind this movie is maybe even more interesting than what this film will be.
that
right?
part.
Because there's evidently a whole second film sitting there that they are essentially not like allowed to put out yet. Like, this one has to be the one that leads. And then if this one does well, there's this whole other the part of Michael's life that you would probably want to see what a biopic would do with and explore, because there's all that other stuff, right? That is like that's not gonna be touched upon in this, because that's just that footage is just sitting somewhere waiting to see if this one does well, and then we could actually get that. So like, I don't, it's going to be one of those things where this is almost like, could be almost like a part one in a lot of ways, right? Just cutting off at this point in time where it's like, okay, cool, like this is the peak of Michael and everything, which is interesting in and of itself. Like, there's interesting stuff there, I feel like. But then there's this whole other part that, like, well, we're going to get that, because that altogether, that would be a film I'd be super, super interested in. So there's just all this footage that, they can't use. All of that stuff is like really interesting. And it might be one of those things, like, depending on how this does and depending on the reception and things, like, we could end up having those discussions of, what could the pick have been? So I'm curious from that perspective too.
Evan, you're curiously quiet. Do you have any feelings about this?
No. No, I mean, in all honesty, like, I'll probably give it a shot when but like, this isn't kind of one of those things where I'm like gonna want to, like, I really enjoyed like Rocket Man. I thought that was a very interesting, but like these biopics, they really have to offer something. Like, Michael Jackson's life was very interesting, and like, even looking at some of the segments in this kind of were interesting to see. I get a kick out of the fact that this movie was written by the same guy who wrote Alien Covenant, which is very weird. But like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, if I see that this is playing on, a streaming service or something, maybe I'll throw it on in the background to learn more. But like, Kofi, like you mentioned, like, it would kind of be more interesting to just, read like a book about, Michael Jackson's life, and like, but like, I feel like we know so much about his life, so much has been on
between this
display.
And Jackson 5 biopics that have been on TV.
I didn't even take into consideration, like, and all the Jackson 5 stuff and everything. So it's just like, it's if this is kind of one of those things where, like, if I hear a lot of really good reviews for it, and like, it's really like offering a very interesting take on the subject matter, like, I'll check it out eventually. But like, it's not something where I'm necessarily like gonna rush to the theaters to see this one.
Yeah, I don't really do biopics that much. They're just, it's always the same beats, and it
really depends on like who they're focusing on in general.
I mean,
like,
I'd rather see like a Baz Luhrmann or Sofia Coppola surrealist kind of biopic than like something that aims to be realistic. But that's just me. Also, I'm going to say something controversial. I'm waiting for that big Prince biopic.
Oh, that would be cool. I bet there's because Prince like had so many like legality in general issues, like all of the, I would love to have a movie that talks about all of the movies that he made that are just locked away in a vault, because I know like there was always that story where Kevin Smith made like a whole movie for him, and that never saw the light of day. But yeah, no, I would love to see that. That would be super interesting. I'd love to see a movie about Prince.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it gets meta. It could be a courtroom drama. It could get meta when you're doing Purple Rain, the making of Purple Rain being comparative to his real life. Oh man, we could go nuts with this. Anyway, I'm sure they got that on lock, though. I'm sure that estate has that on lock. All right. Anyway, a boy can dream. But that's the Michael Jackson trailer. We can real quick just get on to the other thing that people are talking about. Some big things happening with a big movie sequel coming up. Evan, you're a horror fan. Lay it out for us.
Yeah, speaking of biopics, the next biopic focusing on Freddy Fazbear is coming out next month. I'm of course talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The hook of this one is that the animatronic creatures that have long been this giant video game franchise and this giant merchandising juggernaut are escaping from their de facto Chuck E. Cheese and kind of like threatening the world at large. That's the hook of this one. Of course, like the characters of Mike and Vanessa are coming back from the first movie. Most likely we'll probably see, I mean, you can see that Matthew Lillard is going to appear in this movie once again. He of course plays the role of oh man, what is his name? Snap Trap or something. The villain of the first movie. But this is kind of one of those things where like I remember watching the first movie because I'm an old head. I don't get the appeal of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think that's kind of one of those things where like I think if the first movie had been better in terms of like the horror of it and like it, obviously the first movie was rated PG-13. This is kind of like it's kind of more like a Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark style thing where it had like one kind of cool kill in that first movie, but like that was about it. The kids love it, but like I think that like with this second one, it's gonna have to bring a lot more to the table. I'd love to hear like, did anybody else here see the first movie or know about the literal hundreds of thousands of pages of lore that is entailed in Five Nights at Freddy's? I've like skimmed the surface of it, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know all of the different stuff.
Yeah, I saw some of those pages. I only read about 6 or 7. No, I'm just kidding.
You must get that a lot. Everybody who has kids must get that.
Yeah, I know. I went to a music performance for my kid, and the music teacher made the mistake of saying it out loud before he caught it, and the whole, literally the whole chorus of kids behind him just simultaneously erupted, and the ones in the crowd. It was like, I looked at my wife and was like, this is a cult, man. This is nuts. The whole room of kids, just like all of them. 6, 7. Anyway, yeah, no, I mean, this missed me too. The first one was just okay, but like, it's just, I'm more just so surprised about the success of it and like how it just keeps being successful. Wow. Also, I thought you were up on the horror aspect of this one. Will also, they just kind of recently announced that this one will be also featuring your boy. This will be a little Scream reunion between Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich. Whenever Skeet Ulrich comes outside for something, you know, I'm for it. So
they shove him out. What horror franchise am I in this time?
Yeah, but it's so like, I mean, when you just think about it for a minute, when you step back and this is just a 90s, maybe millennial, exennial conversation, but like, remember, there used to be a balance, right? It was like Johnny Depp up here, Skeet Ulrich down here. But now, with time and life, look what has happened. Look what has happened. Johnny Depp is down here. And now, whenever we see Skeet Ulrich, we're like, Skeet! You know, we're all happy.
That's exactly what we're like.
And we all get all happy about it. So, you know, to all those actors out there, who, if you've been ever holding the title that you are the B of some other more famous person, just keep living. Just keep living. Give it 6 or 7, and maybe you'll be on top. All right. Anyway, we were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. Anybody actually going to watch this thing?
We will.
I'm not going to watch it. So anybody else going to watch it?
Yeah, because Anissa loves the Anissa really like had this thing of like wanting to watch the first one. I watched it because I like the games. The games.
Okay, you were the gamer. Okay.
Yeah. And so, you know, I mean, look, they're like the whole premise of you essentially having to stay in the security booth and having to manage the battery and the shutting of the things. There's some great jump scares in the franchise. And some of those games are actually genuinely spooky, right? Because they're constantly playing with your perception and you see them in the camera. There's a creepiness to all that. And then I watched the movie and I went, oh, like I wasn't like that deep into the lore and like the kid aspect of things and all that, and also like that kind of, you know, that's like one of my trigger points, right? Like when you start dealing with like kids and abduction and all stuff, it's like, where was I just was looking for animatronics killing crap. Like that's all it was.
Yep.
That's all I was doing.
That story got unnecessarily deep. And
Yeah, it was just like whoa,
crazy
right?
deep.
But there were still things about it that I enjoyed. It's just a weird movie. I think the first one was just a weird amalgamation movie. But this one looks like now it's one of those things like now that we got that out of the way, we can just kind of play in the toy box and like we're gonna dip into the lore, but like in a different way because now we know who the identity is, right? We know who he is and all that. That this looks to me better, probably, and more in line with what I was thinking the first one was probably gonna be than the first one ended up being. We'll see if that happens. We're still dealing with all of the kids stuff, and that's gonna be really hard for me. But like I just think like it looks more they brought more horror elements and they really are also leaning more into the animatronics and stuff. We're gonna get other characters that we haven't seen. They're trying to make it a little creepier in that respect. I mean, I feel like the first one, the gnarliest kill was in the first 5 minutes. It's the literal first kill. It's like the most gruesome kill in that movie.
Which one are you referring to?
The one with the
security.
It's the janitor or the security guard that gets just like mauled.
Yeah,
that happens in the first like 2 minutes of the movie, and to me, that's the most brutal killing in the whole thing. So yeah, I hope we get more of those. We're gonna lean into that. I don't need like full like Terrifier. I don't need that.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
I don't need that. But I need a little bit more, you know. So I'll probably end up seeing this. The bummer to me is though that this is not streaming.
Mm-hmm.
That was also a big reason why I watched the first one.
Yeah, that's exactly why I watched the first one.
We're gonna talk about streaming today. It's an interesting day, but we're gonna talk about it when we get to the movie section. About
I got Peacock. Today. I'll just throw that on. That's fine.
Wait, what?
It was on Peacock.
You said okay. You said okay.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. I was
really?
like,
it was on Peacock.
You blanked out. Yes, you blanked out for a split second. I was like, did he just end this entire podcast? I was like, what just happened? I was like, what just happened?
But this one's full on theatrical release, right?
Yeah. Same day, and it still made like a crazy amount of money in theaters, which just
it did
to show like how even despite the fact people still went to the kids still went to theaters to go see it. So even though you could watch it at home, kind of wild.
Yeah, they did. They had like whole parties. It was like a whole thing. But yeah. Anyway, we've given this more than I intended to. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not going out to a theater to see this. I love you guys, but I probably won't.
Nope.
Similar question for It. Welcome to Derry on our TV watch this week. Are you guys still with this in episode 2, or did it lose you? Just be honest. We can possibly get through this.
So I'll go really quickly on it. This actually brought me in way more than the first episode.
Okay.
For two big reasons. The first off, oh my God, the creature designs. Oh God, I was legitimately, and I'm a guy who I've been like desensitized to horror throughout my life because of all the crap I've watched, but the design of the monsters in this is so horrifyingly jaw-dropping. The little girl's mother in the earlier parts of the episode, as well as what I can only describe as the pickle zombie, I guess. Oh my God, that was crazy. Like both of those were like, wow, they're really going hard in the paint on these. But the other thing that I was really surprised, and I don't know if everybody caught this, one of the characters that was introduced in the second episode was a guy named Dick Halloran, who, for those who don't know, is actually the caretaker from The Shining, Scatman Crothers' character from the original Shining, and they brought him back from this. For those who don't know, Stephen King's universe, everything that he writes, as far as I know, takes place in the same universe. So like The Shawshank Redemption, The Shining, Dark Tower, all of them happened in the same thing.
Steel
So
and
it's kind of
Plot.
surprising
Yeah.
that they're bringing this element. So like that kind of got like, oh wow, they're like, even though Stephen King didn't write it, Welcome to Derry, they're bringing in elements. So I thought like this episode kind of brought me in, and I was like a little more, I thought more of the characterization kind of worked in general. We still haven't like seen Pennywise still hasn't like appeared. Like, you know, we've seen kind of brief glimpses and stuff like that. But I really like enjoyed this second episode more than the first one. I thought like they had a lot going for it. Really creepy stuff all around.
Yeah, I was scared I'd be the only one, but no, it brought me more into. I knew Dick Halloran was in this because we've done interviews with the actor and stuff.
Oh,
It's
cool.
been, yeah, we have that. Check out comicbook.com and our YouTube page. But it was interesting how they're using him. They're actually taking, I was more impressed with this episode and how much it's taking King's lore from different aspects and weaving it together. It's taking the deeply kind of like supernatural, cultural mysticism stuff from like it and mixing it with the psychic stuff and the supernatural stuff from The Shining and mixing it with some of the more kind of like military technology, atomic age kind of horror stuff that King messes with sometimes and does all that. And it's kind of bringing that all together. And I was like, oh, that's pretty well done. Like,
Actually, in the comments, Barkwood Comics makes an amazing point that I forgot to mention, which is that this also connects kind of to The Mist. I don't know. I love The Mist, the movie. I thought that that's like one of my favorite horror movies. But this also kind of connects to that. And I've seen theories that this kind of connects. I don't know if everybody's familiar with The Stand, but like the it seems like it's laying the groundwork for Pennywise having some kind of role in the creation of the virus that eliminates mankind, which is just wild stuff. I didn't expect all that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like all of those different aspects of Stephen King, they're weaving together better than something like Castle Rock tried to do, which was like everything's just mystical and supernatural and weird in this town. But it's like King plays with these different types of horror. And the fact that they're logically and organically kind of linking all those things was when I saw in the second episode, I was like, okay. Also, like you said, the characterization, we learn more about Dick Halloran and kind of like where he is, how he's using this unique privilege in this time, like of that wouldn't be extended to him because of his psychic powers and how the military are using them, that he can do things like you see that tense scene with him and the black officers and, you know, when they're off and try to come back on base and do all that stuff. And then the other kind of the major and the whole test, taking it from this first episode being the standard, like, oh, it's racism type thing to being like, this was a test to see if you could get caught up this or get past this. And then as a candidate, basically you're like Jon Stewart, you are without fear, like come with us, like, you know, that whole thing, like that's cool. And it's deepening the characters too. So I also, you heard my criticism of the first episode being that there was too much pluck. I was kind of half thinking that they would really keep the young kid cast and it would be like a vision of the first episode, would just be like a vision or a nightmare. And they faked me out at the beginning of this one because she wakes up in bed from that scene and you're like, oh, they did it. It was just a vision. But then it's like, no, this is a whole new status quo. They killed those kids like in that first episode. And then I was just like, oh yeah, this show is really going there. Like this is nuts. Like, yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I was surprised because we were all wondering, like, what the hell is this show going to be? Like, how much can you do with the town of Derry in the 60s and Pennywise? Like, yeah, but this is something much bigger. They are going for like a whole ass Stranger Things with this. And it's kind of, I was digging it because it has little King markers that I know. And I'm like, oh, okay. But Matt and Janelle, you guys are more quiet. You guys never answered my original question. Are you even still in?
Yes, unfortunately I am. I liked the first episode so much that I was like, well, I got to keep going with this. I totally agree with every single point that you guys have made. And I'm so glad that you kind of took over and really discussed all these little details because those aren't things that I know about, you know, The Mist or any really, I don't know horror. So, That's really cool. Even without that knowledge or having a big extensive background in horror, I don't feel like the horror aspect is turning me off from the show because of all the other little things, like you said, with like the military aspect and like all the other characters and things. It still has me. I have to watch the Harry Potter baking show afterwards, but yes, I'm still in this.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. If I want to take one comment is, if this is the way we get a backdoor way into a Dark Tower, like TV
That'd be really
project of
cool.
some kind, that'd be wild. That would be so
make
wild.
a good Dark Tower live
Yeah.
action thing.
Yeah, that'd be so wild. Hey, we're not promoting. Nah, you know what? Shout out. You could also watch some new rock stars. They'll fill you in on all this King lore. They'll help you out because I'm not doing it. So I'm not recording that. So they can. Get the money. All right, but Matt, how about you?
I mean, look, I really dug the first
Oh,
episode.
Matt free. Oh, we had a freeze face for a second. Oh, so cool.
No. I really dug the first episode. Man, it hasn't happened in a while. But this one was awesome. I dug this a lot. I like the stuff we're messing with here. And this was something too in like the original, both it's actually at this point. I love the creature designs. I love the weirdness, even outside of Pennywise, just all of those kind of weird designs. There have been some truly creepy themes in these movies. And so having that move over to the show, and it's just, I don't know, there's just something supremely off-putting about some of these designs, but that's what makes it great. That's what makes it sticks out in your brain. And I dig it. I like this. I'm still in.
It was really like it's I think that like the man, it's like hard to even describe how horrible looking the creatures are, because oh my god, like especially the that one with the like the little girl underneath the covers. That was such a cool, like where she's moving the covers and then it turns into a membrane. Like, oh god, oh that was so like, I've never seen that in a movie or a TV show before. And then like the subsequent like deal with her mom and everything, just like so skin crawlingly creepy. And it'll be very interesting to see like where this show goes, because I think like I don't know if, I think this has been confirmed for additional seasons at this point, which is going to be like, we'll see if it takes kind of the same approach as it chapters 1 and 2, where like they're adults and it focuses on them in the future or what have you. But yeah, that should be interesting.
All right, so that's it. Welcome to Derry. We're still in. So yeah, looks like we'll be doing more of this and checking out where this goes. Let's talk about something else I want to just highlight. I also sat down. It took me over Halloween, but I watched to balance out my watching, and I've been having this debate all week, my monster Ed Gein story. I watched Devil in Disguise, the John Wayne Gacy story over on Peacock. And yeah, I'm highlighting this because I want to shout out kind of this series really got to me in a much different way. And it kind of, I think, is an important highlight between the difference where I think some of these series do need to go, where Monster kind of went wrong or put people off in this season. I think this series does an amazing job in that, while it still has a great performance from Michael Parnassus, who's the Tinkerer in the Spider-Man movies and is your boy in Severance, Adam Scott's sister's wife or husband in Severance, the guy who wrote the book they all read down there. He does a fantastic performance as Gacy, and Gabriel Luna does a fantastic job as Torres, the detective that became very attached to this case. Each episode of this series is centered around one of the victims, and they are played by an actor. And so you see their story, their context, like what was going on in their lives up until the moment they met John Gacy, and he just kind of snatched them out of what was happening in their larger lives and the people who love them and all of that. And so each episode is centered around the victim. And so like it's centered around them cleaning out his house, cleaning out the bodies, but each time you have to watch the story of this person, what their whole life was, you know, all the surrounding context. And then it ends with like a mix of dramatic and real photograph or video footage of their body being taken out of the house, you know, photos of who they were and like remembrance of them. And it goes like this throughout the series, which I thought was like a spectacular difference for one of these kind of serial killer true crime things, because we do spend so much time either just in the titillating spectacle of the murder or trying to understand the killer, that, you know, I think it has been long overdue to say, no, like the real impact of this, and it does affect you, is learning who these people were and like what was taken by these people, and, you know, the lives that were taken, the opportunities, the loves, all the things these people just took in, you know, these killers. And so, yeah, I want to shout that out and say that was really well done. And it doesn't take away from the aspects of this that you like you still have these scenes with Gacy and the disturbing kind of nature of him, but never once do they show you a killing. Like every time it gets to that part, it's just a fade to black because you already know what happens. It's just, you know, they don't do any of that. So there's none of that violence, gore kind of stuff like that doesn't happen in this show. It is just the horror is by the time it's the inevitability of like being in water and knowing the shark is coming, right? Like you're knowing, like you get invested in these people and their stories, and then you're like, oh my God, right. Like they meet this horrible, horrible thing of a man and that's over. So yeah, fantastic cast of actors kind of doing all this. Like I said, even Michael Parnassus is like good central performance as Gacy, but like, yeah, really makes you understand the impact of a serial killer and like what they do and kind of how much damage they do. Because these people, you know, you're talking about entire families, hundreds of people, lives never the same, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, Devil in Disguise, good series. I hope they do more this way, like for each of these people, like Ted Bundy, for even Ed Gein, or just like showing you the larger context of the people who were impacted by this stuff. All right, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's on the comic book page and what's in theaters, and it's all kind of horror. So, you know, stay tuned. All right. So, you know, you have choices in life. You can do stuff or you can sleep. Sometimes you can't do both. So I did stuff. I saw 2 movies, Predator Badlands and Frankenstein. I did not sleep. But I got to say, I'm happy with my decision. Let's start with Predator Badlands. That's the theater thing that Evan and I have both seen. This was one of my more highly anticipated films of the year. Dan Trachtenberg has been killing it with the Predator franchise, starting with Prey in 2022 or 2023. I always get them mixed up. But then continuing this year with Predator Killer of Killers, the streaming release on Hulu, and now Predator Badlands, this big screen theatrical release. Yeah, this was very different from any Predator movie we've ever seen before. It puts if you don't know the hook, it makes the Predator, one of the Predator race, the Yautja, a protagonist. His name is Dek. Dek is what they call a runt, and in Yautja culture, a culture of elite hunters, anybody who is a runt is not to be kept and not to survive. And, Dek's father decides, hey, he got to go. But his brother stands up for him and gets him off planet. And he goes to prove himself by completing this epic hunt. Along the way, he meets a Weyland-Yutani synthetic named Thea, played by, as I tweeted, who might be the most clutch supporting actor in the history of supporting actors. Elle Fanning as Thea, as this kind of synthetics that's been bisected, cut across the middle, and needs Dek to kind of get her back to her lower half. This is Trachtenberg at his best. His filming style is unusual. It's kind of almost like guerrilla raw, but you're playing in high, like CGI, prosthetics, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. But this is what as advertised. You're on an alien planet for about 2 hours. You're immersed in this crazy kind of sci-fi adventure buddy comedy. And it's the craziest combination of things, but it really works. And I feel like it's not going to get its due based on my theater, but like me and the people in my theater were all like, yeah, we were locked in from the moment it starts till the moment it ends. You are locked in. This is an immersive story. It looks great. Like done. Dek alone is just an accomplishment for making a Predator like a really compelling protagonist, from his little facial tics to just his mannerism to just his crazy macho bro culture kind of thing we understand. There's just a lot of funny things this movie does and a lot of epic things. And like I said, it was great and visually great. Now, here's what I'm going to say that might be controversial. I don't know if this would have been better served as a streaming release for the kind of current fan base that's going for it. Because I thought Predator was there, but I've heard a lot of talk this week of people who still think Predator has like completely fallen off the map and are not yet aware of like where this franchise is moving. This movie may move the needle, but I think it may be its core. They may have stumbled on is just strong, kind of like really mid-budget streaming lane feature, like premium feature might be it. And that's not the quality of movie I'm speaking to. I'm talking about the market and the audience, and like what a film is judged by versus a streaming release. But we'll see. I think people should go out and see this because, like I said, even if you're not a Predator fan or you think a Predator movie is like a horror movie, this isn't that. This is a like sci-fi adventure movie. And the most comparable thing I could say is it's like Riddick, like the actual just movie Riddick. In terms of how that plays, in terms of like a protagonist on a planet stuck, gets a companion. First, it's like survival, but then there's these opposing forces that land, and now it's time to, you got to put in work against and use this ingenuity and your hunting skills and all this stuff to take down this opposing force. And by the time where this movie ends up, like I said, it is sci-fi like adventure. It is surprisingly like heartfelt and funny. It is about like found family, which is crazy. Like, because again, it's about like a predator and a alien synthetic, right? And like, but it's cute, and you're like rooting for this, and you'll be like cheering, like, yeah, it does what it does using in this wacky, crazy sci-fi aesthetic and premise. So yeah, I dug it. Evan, how'd you feel, man?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to say that this is the worst Predator movie of the year, because it is, but there's a giant asterisk with that in the fact that Killer of Killers was so good. But with that being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought that, like, Kofi, you made a lot of great points in terms of it's it takes a lot of big swings in terms of like, wow, it's kind of weird that this is simultaneously funny, and it kind of has the spirit of the Guardians of the Galaxy to it in some ways. But one of the things that I absolutely love so much about this movie, and I mean, you can see it in the trailer and that, that's playing, is that I am in love with Genna the Death Planet. I think that all of the design work in terms
Oh my God.
like
Yeah.
the fact for Matt and Janelle, one of the big like hook of this movie is that this predator is going to what is considered to be the most terrifying, deadly planet for the predators. And to give you an idea of like when Deck arrives on this planet, everything is trying to kill him. Literally everything. So he picks up a
Yeah, from the scene
caterpillar.
you're seeing on the screen right now, which is the actual like first act beginning of this movie. I think it's even, yeah, like from here on out, like
Yeah.
immediately. Like, yeah.
He picks up a caterpillar at one point, and the caterpillar starts expanding, and he tosses it, and it explodes like a grenade. There is the grass and you can see it in there. The grass is made of razor wire, so he has to, and all the creatures are like accommodated to that. But one of the biggest praises I have for this movie is that when I was walking out, I immediately wanted to see if there was an art book that I could buy, because all of the creature designs, all of the different like various things that are alive on this planet are just gorgeous to look at. And I was really like, I was stunned by a lot of that. And that's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I kind of agree with you in some ways and disagree with you on others, Kofi, when it comes to like the idea of like, should this have been streaming? I think like when you see all of this stuff on the biggest screen possible, it is kind of amazing to kind of take that in general. There is one point that I definitely wanted to make for a lot of people who are watching this, because this was kind of something that I was like, oh man, when I heard about it, is that I think a lot of like longtime Predator fans might be a little discouraged at the idea that like, oh man, this is PG-13. Like, did they take a lot of stuff out? But I can assure people the only reason why this is PG-13 is because there are no human beings. So everything that happens to the only things that are in this movie are alien creatures and synthetic beings. And boy oh boy, do the synthetic beings, their jaws get ripped off, their eyeballs are poked out, they're torn apart, their limbs are thrown off, they're ripped in half. There's like the alien creatures are decapitated. There's like, there's so it's kind of amazing.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is PG-13 only in technicality. When you're watching it, it's a rated R movie. Like,
because
you can't
effectively
take
there's white blood, there's green blood, there's black blood, it's just like covered in it. It's spewing everywhere. And like, so that's how they got around it. But that is to say that like, if you are a big Predator fan and you were about to walk into this thinking, oh man, are they really going to pull back on the violence? No, they're not. It's just that it's not happening to humans. It's only happening to aliens and artificial things.
I want to stay there because I think you're making another great point that I overlooked and I haven't said enough, which is because this is all alien stuff and we're all always judging by like John Wick. No, the action and the battle choreography in this movie is amazing.
Oh,
like,
so good, yeah.
One of the best things that this movie does is train you and make you believe that by the time this is done and the final battles are happening, you believe wholeheartedly that Deck is that guy. Like, he's going to pick up whatever weapon, he's going to figure it out, he's going to get up and slaughter whatever it is. No matter how big it is, he's going to look at it and be like, oh, I got a plan for this, and he's going to do something, and he's going to kill that thing or that person, and like, he's going to get it done. And because this movie and all the trials he goes through, like, I think one of the only things he keeps saying to those synthetic is, every time there's like this massive problem, she's like, you know, this, you know, like the odds of this. And he's like, you give up too easy is like the thing he always says. And then he comes up with some crazy ass plan to get like over it and get the prey because he's so motivated and like just so driven. But again, like, and that's the great arc is he starts like Wolverine, basically. This dude is like Wolverine at the beginning, but like Logan, he becomes like an X-Man by the end. And like, yeah, he's Weapon X at the beginning and he becomes an X-Man at the end. And you're like,
that's a perfect, Dan Trachtenberg addresses almost all of the weaknesses that I originally thought were going to be a thing in this movie in very interesting ways. Like you said, Kofi, with the X-Men angle, the idea of how Thea builds this partnership with this Predator is the fact that she sells him on the idea that because she's a synthetic being, she's not assisting him as a person, but rather as a weapon, which is so like, that's a very original, very interesting concept. And it really works in terms of both of them bouncing off each other and the humanization of Deck in that. And the idea of like, I think a lot of people, I've read a lot of things where people are put off a little bit on the idea of the blue monkey. But like, even that is like, even that creature is very like done very well. And like, that's very interesting in terms of like, it kind of is like Groot, right? Like how it's like introduced and it's building up and everything like that. So like, this is a very, very interesting, I would like give this a strong recommendation for people to go see this because it does offer a lot of really wild swings in terms of the Predator franchise and being able to create something new from, you know, a movie series that was primarily about an alien creature that would hunt human beings, but now having his own adventures and everything. Very, very cool, interesting movie all around.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this one a lot. I can already tell you it's gonna be on my like list of kind of sci-fi horror things that I rewatch pretty regularly because it is just good. And it does the simple hero's journey, builds you on a character. It's a movie and builds you on a friendship. And Elle Fanning is nuts good in this. Like just because she has to fill in a lot of the charisma, the dialogue, like and literally carry this thing while she's being carried. And yeah, she does a great job of bouncing off of this Predator. And one of the best fight sequences I have ever seen involves Thea, Thea. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it is really freaking fantastic.
And she also plays the villain in this movie. So like she's doing double duty. Very, very.
Yeah, I wasn't going to spoil it for people, but yes, she's one of a pair of synthetics. So she actually is playing two different synthetics.
She's in the trailer. Yeah.
I know.
Her, yeah.
I don't watch trailers. I didn't watch any of these trailers. And this is the first time. In fact, all the trailers we played today are the first time I'm watching any of them. Yeah. So, but yeah, she plays two roles. So she does double duty in this film and carries quite a lot of it. But the actor, that's not to take away from the actor who plays Deck, who does a fantastic job as well. But all right, Predator Badlands, we can highly recommend. Go out and see that if you're a fan. But that was good genre entertainment. This other piece of thing was cinema. So we are going to mix the rare mix of Comic Book Nation and Cinema Nation. But that's the kind of stuff Guillermo del Toro does to you. Del Toro's Frankenstein is now out on Netflix. It was in theaters. Evan saw it weeks ago. I stayed up and started in on this epic, nearly 3-hour movie. I'm down to the last 30, but I mean, I know because I read books. But I have to say, like, yeah, this is already, I'm not going to hold you. This is already up there in that Oscar conversation for me for a variety of reasons. The production design alone is pretty freaking stunning throughout this movie. I was just like, Jesus, this is gross but gorgeous. Like gothic fiction, like Mary Shelley couldn't have pictured it better. Yeah, every set piece, costume, everything just fan freaking tastic. And so visually, I could watch this as a silent movie and it would be just fantastic. But yeah, this is hands down the best adaptation of Frankenstein I've seen thus far. And yeah, Jacob Elordi as the monster is, again, him, Oscar Isaac. This is something Mia Goth has needed for a long time on this kind of level. Yeah, all fantastic. This is going to be in those Oscar conversations, I can already tell you. But that's me. Where are you guys at? I know this was a big ask because it just came out at midnight. I'm not ignorant enough to think all of you were as crazy as me and stayed up for nearly 3 hours and watched all this, but are you guys getting into it? And how do you feel about it? Evan, we already know you saw it.
Yeah, I'll quickly recap like my thoughts on it. I thought that while this isn't necessarily Guillermo del Toro's best movie, you can see that he poured his heart and soul into this. The attention to detail is amazing. This is probably the closest representation of Mary Shelley's original story that we've ever seen committed to film. I think that like this is definitely, while it is on Netflix now, this is a movie that kind of demands that you see it in theaters because it's such a gorgeous movie. Everybody, including Del Toro and the actors, are all on their A game for this one. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't recommend it enough. Like if it's playing at a theater near you, go see it in a theater. If like get a Netflix subscription for this one if you can't make it to a theater, because man, it's just a really good movie and it's one of Guillermo del Toro's best.
Yeah, I mean personally, I think it's one of his best in years. Like, you know, shout out to Shape of Water or what was that other one he did?
Nightmare Alley.
No, God.
I was about to say.
I erased that from my mind. No, I was talking about Cold Mountain or what was the other
Crimson
one?
Peak.
Crimson Peak. Yeah, this has been one of the best in years. It's because it has all the aesthetic stuff, but it's also like, I mean, it is, like you said, it's Mary Shelley's story, but it has all the insights that we need put to film and kind of the larger kind of commentary on who Victor Frankenstein was and what was kind of like driving him and all of that stuff and his relationship between him, the monster, his brother's wife, all that stuff is really well done in this one. But yeah, so it's proof also that I think I think Del Toro is one of those directors where he's like Snyder, where their visual and imaginations are so strong that sometimes you really need the temperance of somebody else's work, like somebody else's writing and ideas to kind of bring them down a little bit, or just give them a path to follow that's clear, and then we get the best kind of stuff out of them. Matt and Janelle, have you guys gotten a chance to dig into this at all?
I did. I actually stayed up and started it, and then I finished it this morning. So I was actually
okay. There you go.
Yeah, I was pumped about this coming out. So it wasn't like work or anything. I was just really excited, and I was like, I can't wait to see this. It was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and moving. Very emotional at times, which was shocking, and honestly hopeful at times, which I feel like that's kind of a departure from the book. I don't know how many people have actually read it, but there were certain things that have been changed for the movie in regards to the book, and I actually really approve of and support those changes to make it more of a fluid story. And it does feel long, but I don't mind the length. The story kept progressing. The visuals were beautiful. The acting is spectacular. And I cannot believe how much I love this. Like, I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to make my husband watch it with me.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of crazy couples costumes, stuff like that. There's going to be a vibe. I already feel like this is just like, that gothic stuff. It makes a comeback when we get the right reasons. But yeah, no, I think a lot of people are going to be on that Oscar Isaac. He's going to start a whole vibe wave of this kind of fashion again. Yeah, I mean, it's it's nuts. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of every tall guy is gonna be the monster next Halloween. It's gonna be nuts. Hey, Evan! Hey,
Yeah,
see, but you
I'm
better
bound by
throw in an
law
anime. You got to throw
to
in an
be
anime twist to
Frankenstein.
it. Yeah, you gotta be in, but anime twisted, Frankenstein, but with jutsu,
There has not been a Frankenstein anime, so I can help usher that in.
All right. But yeah, Matt, what'd you think?
I woke up early this morning to watch it because I was I was pissed. I was all ready to watch it last night, and then didn't realize it was like it wasn't late enough. It was just like I still damn it. I really wanted to watch it last night. But it's man, this is fantastic. Look, I have a passing love of the Frankenstein story. It's been one of those few kind of pockets in the horror universe that I always kind of keep up with, regardless of the iteration, right? Because it's I don't know, it's just something about that always
Yeah, I was about
fascinates
to
me.
ask follow up, like what?
I mean, it
I've never heard
those
you speak about this in 7 years. I've never heard you.
Frankenstein and the Invisible Man of the Universal Monsters type of thing, right? Also, when we start dipping into even like Dracula to an extent, like some of those classic characters, there's something that always intrigues me about them, and I will mostly give them a try. But Frankenstein in general, I don't know. There's just always, even in the comics, like there's been several iterations of Frankenstein comics. I will go read them. And I'm not even talking about like DC and Marvel and their kind of versions of them. Like there's just something fascinating about this particular story, especially how they handle the monster. It's always that tends to be the biggest swing as far as like the differences between various iterations, right? Is how they handle that. Is the creature thoughtful? Do they almost have like a soul? Are they just this monstrous being? Is there blanks? Like there's so many ways you can approach that. And number one, I will say, like, when Guillermo del Toro's name got attached, I went, okay, I'm gonna watch it regardless. Like, I'm gonna watch his stuff, period. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it does. I'm gonna give it a look. And then on top of that, I think one of the things that sticks out here is that weird relationship between the two here. I gotta give a Lordy a lot of props. Like, great job, fantastic job of bringing something unique and disturbing, off-putting, but at the same time, like you're just entranced. Like I just can't tear my eyes away from the screen. Really, really well done. So I really enjoyed this. Look, to get me to sit for, I still bag on Endgame for being way too damn long. Okay, the movie's so long. You cut like an hour from that thing, and I'd be perfectly fine. They're not a lot of movies. I think there's actually one. I'll say Gladiator. Gladiator is the only 3-hour movie I'm gonna sit and watch multiple times. Okay, because it's that
Lord of
good.
the Rings.
I mean, look, I haven't watched it again since I caught it midway through on TNT. So I'm gonna say no.
I love 3-hour movies, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I love a good 3-hour movie.
I can't. Now here's the thing. No shade to time investment, because I will sit and watch 3 or 4 episodes of a show and spend more time. It's just it's really hard for me to block out 3 hours for one movie. It just is. I would rather play a video game. I'd rather go watch a show. That's just my nature, right? I understand the time investment's exactly the same, but it's just hard for me. It's always has been. But this was great, and I didn't get to watch it with Anissa, and she will probably be intrigued enough to where I might end up watching this again. And I do feel like once I watch it again, there will be a lot of things I pick up on that I didn't pick up on the first time. So there's a shot here, which should tell you, like, I really dug it, because I don't do that for everything. I have watched Endgame in clips. I haven't watched that movie straight through since the day I saw it in the theater. That's one and done. I'm good. I'll watch the third act on Disney Plus or on YouTube or whatever. It'll be fine.
All right. So there you go. Well, it looks like Oscar Isaac could put his Moon Knight downtime to good use. Good for him. Man, this Jacob Elordi kid, what are we going to do next with him? It's interesting the choices he's made. He could have easily gone for tall hunk guy, but instead he's getting all prosthetic. He's doing Saltburn and getting all prosthetic up as a monster. I like it. All right. Check out Frankenstein on Netflix and head over to the Comic Book Forum and tell us what you think about it. Let's get some talk going over there. All right. That's it for on the big screen this week. Let's go to comics. Matt, what do we got this week?
Oh boy, we got Absolute Superman number 13. There is any week that there is a DC Absolute book is a better week. It just is. And especially when it's one of the original trio, which is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Absolute Superman number 13. The Battle of Kansas really kicked off last issue, but this is full on the Battle of Kansas. We are knee deep in it, with Lazarus essentially amassing their entire army of forces against one dude and like 100,000 Kansans and two other people. It's crazy, right? When you start thinking about scale and everything, you have giant mechs and tanks just trying to take down this small rural town. But Superman is the one thing that's standing there. And we talked a lot about at the beginning of this series, that like sometimes we were kind of waiting for those big Superman style moments to hit in because everything else was so good. And then we were just kind of like, but I kind of feel like I need to see Superman. Like I need to get, and at times what's been the most interesting part about the series to me is that evolution of Superman feels very relatable, possibly more human than he's felt in a long time, because he's conflicted as any one of us is at any given moment. He's trying to figure out just who he is, what defines him, what he should really believe in, all those things, as he's also just by his nature being someone who saves people, who defends people at every turn. This issue is like one of those Superman style moments here for the series. I mean, this entire issue is him. I mean, spoilers coming in for this book, because I really feel like we can't talk about this book without spoilers. But like, he gives up Soul, his entire cape, in the first page, essentially be like, hey, cover the city. I got this. It's just like, he evades every protocol, and he dude dips into his Kryptonian past. We see that come back around, right, because of his history with mining and his family and how that creates a safe haven. We see him just have conversations in the midst of all this with other people, and he's just being the hero that you see. And there's a very powerful moment where he meets the person, there's that powerful moment where he meets a person that essentially kind of set all this off. And I love the internal dialogue mixed with what he does, because it's just, again, very human. I feel like we'd all be in that same place, and I don't know if I'd be big enough to handle it as he did. So I just think this is one of those times in this series where you look at it and go like, yeah, that's Superman. And that's a Superman I can get behind. I don't know. I feel like moving into the next thing, it did not end where I thought it would end. So I'm very curious about where we go from here. But what did you guys think?
This is crazy. There's a lot going on in this, and I enjoyed the beginning of this series so much more because I really was interested in more of like the backstory and what happened to his planet and his family dynamic and all of that. I don't have a sense of like how important Smallville is to him. So it's kind of like, I get it. Like, he obviously is worried about them, but it doesn't have that. It's not like pulling at my heartstrings. It's more just like mass chaos and like awful. Personally. Still good. Just, this is when Absolute Batman is kind of rising to the top for me.
I understand.
I mean, I was worried how they were going to do it, but I thought they did a pretty good job of kind of fielding what a battle looks like. and kind of hopping between time points and kind of keeping things moving to show you, because a battle can be fast, but like this is like more realistic. This is like a prolonged siege, a prolonged holdout, like, you know, all of this. And I thought they did a good job of kind of illustrating that and then using that as the framework to begin to build up Superman's lore into where he's going to become, you know, this more heroic figure and why and how he earns that in this context from like actually going out there and fighting a war for people. Because when we started this premise of Absolute Superman being this kind of more revolutionary kind of dude, I was like, okay, well, this is eventually we're gonna have to get to backs against the wall in a fight and all that, and that's where we're gonna see kind of Superman emerge. But I thought this was interesting, and I like, because everything gets darker than Before the Dawn, you know, to pull from the Dark Knight, but this one they're getting into a really dark place where, like, you know, Superman, the self-doubt, the actual loss that we get in this issue, the kind of turning of the tables we get, I thought was compelling. I don't think this is as strong as like that Wonder Woman defending San Francisco or whatever town it was from that giant monster, or what's happening in Absolute Batman, like versus Bane or something. But I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was just pretty good, and that's always been where I'm at except for a couple key issues where I've been with Absolute Superman is like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But yeah, so I'm not gonna hate too much, but it's not like the greatest.
Man,
I think
that Absolute Batman anime is what we really need.
Which has kind of been not hinted at, but the creators are kind of thinking about that. Read all about it on ComicBook.com. I think that like Absolute Superman is just endemic of what works so well about the Absolute universe overall. And I'm saying this as someone where my favorite DC superhero outside of Kyle Rayner and Wally West is Superman. Just and the way that this universe has distilled the essence of these characters while making them radically different at the same time has just worked so well across the board. Is Absolute Superman the best of the lot? I don't think so. Still, Absolute Wonder Woman is still my favorite, followed by like Absolute Batman and then Absolute Superman. But and maybe like throw in Absolute Martian Manhunter in there somewhere. And then like low down Flash and Green Lantern. But yeah, no, like I love all the changes that they've made to Superman in general. I think like the cape stuff is so cool. The background stuff of like Krypton and, you know, his origin story, the inclusion of like Ra's al Ghul as a villain for Superman. I know this isn't technically talking about like this issue particularly, but it's just kind of a smaller part of a larger whole as to why this series and the Absolute Universe has been such an amazing success. And man, if you look at the sales numbers for like comics in general, it's just like Absolute and Ultimate they've just taken over everything, which is crazy. I was actually explaining shout out to my wife on this one. I was explaining to her the concept of Absolute Batman and being like, okay, he's really big and he's become this like, and he has like a battle axe on his chest, and like it struck with people. It struck a chord with people, and it became this giant thing. And that's just so cool. And I think like with Superman in general, all of the moving pieces, they never have to cross over with the main. I'm sure we'll get a point where the Absolute Universe and the main DCU will cross over, but like it can always exist as kind of its own thing, I think. And like, dare I say, if they ever wanted to if they had to pick one between the Absolute Universe and the DC Universe, I don't know, man. I might lean toward the Absolute one because it's just like there's so much potential and like it's firing on all engines across the board. And like, man, I'm just loving it. I can't recommend it enough for people. There's something for everybody in these series in general.
Well, and the thing is though, you don't have to pick. And I love that. Mm-hmm. Marvel. You don't have to pick. You could have just had both.
Ultimate Universe. Why?
Yes. You could have just had both. Why? Why? I don't under that like thing is just like boggles my mind, right? And yeah, I agree, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. I feel like this issue overall in general is not getting enough love just from even just like outside of the show. Because I really Jason Aaron has done just some immense work here by bringing so many little things back from those first couple issues. All good stuff. So let's move to Marvel though. And we're gonna move to, again, keeping it with the horror-ish nature, the horror-ish nature. Pause. We're gonna stay with Aliens versus Captain America #1. Now, this is part of a if you've been paying attention to Marvel and kind of their recent crossovers, we've had like kind of a lot of jumping into we've had a lot of reading the comments. We've had a lot of jumping into the alien world here and kind of crossing them over at different points. This one kind of takes us to where, hey, what if Hydra was always developing weapons and trying to turn things around. Well, what if they discovered the possibility of xenomorphs and able to utilize them or even just unleash them upon Marvel heroes? And we kind of I feel like the actual Aliens versus Captain America part of this is like the last, I don't know, 6 pages. 6 pages, but it's a really good 6 pages. But there's a lot of like, I don't know, there's a lot of interesting stuff as far as like lore and things. Kofi knows that way better than me. What did you think of this issue?
I thought it was one of the actual weaker of the Alien Marvel crossovers, just because, and I'm not saying anything bad against it. Well, I mean, there's also been the Predator ones. If I had to wait, I put it in the middle if I had to weigh it against all the Predators, because like Predator versus Spider-Man was kind of corny. This is just basic in the sense that it's like World War II Cap, and it's everything you would expect. It's Hydra trying to use the xenomorphs to win World War II, which is, compelling on its face. But I just read this issue, and the first thing I thought when I was done the first issue was how little impact it had with Captain America. Actually in the first issue, #1. And #2, I was like, yeah, I like this better when I called it Overlord and it had Homeboy from It Welcome to Derry. Yeah, like, which one of the most criminally underrated action horror movies of the 2010s is Overlord. And before Riot Russell, that's what got Riot Russell that US agent job. He's a badass in that movie. But go watch Overlord if you haven't. Great film. Yeah, I liked Overlord better, but I can see the vision and I can see where they're gonna go with this, and I can see this having an epic kind of 4-issue arc and finale, and doing this. The best scene was actually just the beginning and seeing Von Strucker and a bunch of Hydra goons run up on a room full of facehugger eggs, not understanding what they were getting into. Like, that's the kind of alien stuff.
Excellent use of Baron Von Strucker.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was scary in that. And I thought this book would be a little bit more hardcore because there's that scene he goes into the tavern and he's just like crushing a guy's face to get information. And like I was like, oh, whenever Marvel's making squishy sounds of blood, I was like, oh man, yeah, we're getting into some hardcore stuff. So I dug that. But this was an okay first issue, mostly because the Captain America of it all.
Yeah, I think that when it comes, we're so all of us as comic book fans are so used to how these crossovers work in terms of, okay, they start laying down the seeds and then eventually we get to a point where there's kind of like a fusion, especially with like the Alien and Predator meets the Marvel stuff, which is like eventually we're going to see a fusion where in this, I would put money down that we'll see a super soldier alien or something like that. But I appreciate the fact that this is taking place during World War II. I think that's a very interesting, I'm always a fan of venturing back to that time period for Captain America, because I feel like there's always more room for it to be explored in general. So like having the aliens show up in this. Brywood makes an excellent point.
Sure.
It's so, I mean, you can't compare this to Hickman. You can't. Jonathan Hickman is like a god tier comic book writer, and the stuff he did with Alien versus Avengers was just so amazing that it's like it's hard to compete. But this was kind of an okay showing as a first issue, and I'm gonna read the rest of it because, like, hey, I'm a sucker for these crossovers. I think that nothing's ever gonna hit the same level as Batman versus Predator. Guys in the audience, if you've never read Batman versus Predator, that still remains one of my favorite comic book crossovers of all time. Holy crap. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. We're sure to see a super soldier alien by the end of this thing, but again, kind of an interesting premise. Hopefully, Thierry and the rest of the creative team can kind of work on the strengths that it has.
Yeah. And also, I know she had to step out, but Janelle really dug this book as well. So I mean, look, hey, it's finding an audience, and there's a lot of cool things here. I'm more interested for the next issue because now we have all that stuff out of the way. We did get a crazy gnarly chest eruption here, which is they did hit all the alien notes. I mean, we got face huggers, we got a full xenomorph shot. Like there was a lot on the alien side of things in this issue. There just wasn't a lot of Cap. So hopefully next time around we'll get to that. But that's comics.
Okay, and that does it. Unless Matt, you have anything to get off in your agenda?
No. I'm oh wait, actually, quick plug, but not. I don't have a trailer. But we are evidently. I've been jumping into Marvel Rivals and been rotating through there, earning.
That was going to be mine.
See,
throw that in there.
So I've been playing a lot, and we are starting to get leaks and reveals and official teases for the next season, and is it the favorite X couple? One of the favorite X couples, Rogue and Gambit, is going to be the next group here, and they are officially teasing it now with like artwork in the background, all kinds of stuff. We were probably very close to a full-on developer session where we get kind of a breakdown of some abilities and stuff. That's going to be awesome.
Rogue's going to be crazy. You're going to be able to grab people and steal powers. That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll be very interested to see whether Rogue arrives because, oh my god, I know Gambit's going to be a DPS. Netties, we have enough DPS characters. For the love of God, we need vanguards and we need strategists. I don't care what Rogue is, but she has to be one of those two. And I think that it'll be super cool. Maybe she is a combination of both vanguard and strategist. Angela was kind of Angela as a flying tank is really cool. I think that Angela. I'm still like myself. I'm still kind of a thing main, but I'm kind of working. I play Vanguard and strategist way more than DPS these days. But one of the things that I also wanted to extrapolate upon is how cool the Marvel Zombies mode is. And that has actually been extended for an additional month at this point, where they've added the caveat of having achievements where you have to beat it by yourself. And my God, Netties, I don't know, Matt or Kofi, if you guys have played that mode. I've beaten all the way up to Nightmare 3, and oh my God, I cannot defeat. Somebody in the audience help me. I can't beat Nightmare 4. It's so difficult. I can't
get through hard. I just stopped. It was making me so mad. I can't even figure out how to extend my life. I can't figure out anything. I was running up in hard with 400 life. I was like, wait, what?
It's
slapped down. I was like, this is nuts.
Nightmare. For those who don't know, Nightmare 4 is the hardest mode of Marvel Zombies and Marvel Rivals. It takes an hour, and the final part is fighting against two giant Scarlet Witch zombies, who are the hardest thing in the history of mankind. I can't take it. Someone help me. I need that Queenslayer title.
You know what though, man? Talk about I love what that mode's doing for the game.
It reinvigorated the game.
Yeah, it's brought people back. I love it, but here's the thing: I'm not always in the mood for it, but I love that it's there. It's just like Call of Duty Zombies. Like when I jump into Call of Duty, sometimes I just like I'm gonna play straight up multiplayer and be good. But every so often, I'm like, want something different. I want something where you can work together, like as a team in that kind of format. And I will say, like, you know, outside of like the nightmare stuff, some of the other ones are pretty forgiving as far as like they give you a decent amount of lives. If you pick your cards right and stuff, you all of a sudden end up with like 1,000 health Jeff the Shark, like I had at at one point in time, because I was just like bye, like soup that up, right? But it's fun. I will say it also too really got me into a mode where now if I have actually found a few games now where there is more than one Vanguard already.
Yeah.
And there's a strategist. And so I go, wow, can I actually play a DPS? Can I actually do that? And so I have to pick some, because I'm like, oh, you know, we don't need 3 tanks or whatever. I'll play another healer sometimes, but then I go play Blade because Marvel Zombies showed me I got really comfortable with him, and I was like, okay, cool.
Blade was always great. Nah, there's some DPS characters that are borderline ones. Like you can use Jean Grey in a variety of ways. Like, yeah, like Reed Richards is always a borderline one. He can be a Vanguard and a DPS.
Mr. Fantastic is one of my mains. I love that character.
So, like, there's some borderline characters. I tend to like the borderline characters. But it's just not fair if I get out Emma Frost and just slaughter people.
Awesome.
Emma's such
Gambit, get ready to insta lock though, because Gambit's you're gonna have weeks where you're not gonna be able to play that character for a while. Also, I have grown to despise Daredevil. So
I hate Daredevil. I hate Daredevil. That's why he gets blocked all the time in ranked.
Oh my gosh. As a Magneto player, because I love Magneto, he's still my main. But like you get that vision circle and I see it coming. I'm like, because it's too slow. And it starts getting up on your face, and I can't stand it.
Daredevil's an assassin, but it's hard to you have to be like really calm and strategic to play as Daredevil. If you start wilding out and trying to like get quick pace and brutal, you get killed instantly. Like, but it's just an assassin hanging on those walls, just wait until that right person you got to take out, the healer, somebody comes by. Yup. Be here.
There's Magneto. And he just used his shield and he gave his bubble to somebody. Perfect timing. This guy is gonna hit me, and I was like, I hate you. I hate you so much.
Yep. Anyway, all right, but we're off topic. We are just floating in the aether now. That's Marvel Rivals. Keep a lookout. New season. I am playing Ghost of Yote. I just took down the snake. I'm on my way. I'm on my journey. It is a gorgeous game. Like,
it is.
Just that opening sequence, riding the horse through the field and just seeing the landscape in 4K. I was like, oh man, I felt the magic. I got up and just was like, hell yeah, we're going in. So I finished Tsushima up here right behind me. Now I'm taking out the Yote 6. Great game. So we'll talk a little bit more gaming.
I'll add a very quick gaming one as well. The Simpsons season in Fortnite just came out, which had me re-download the game. It's amazing. Being able to walk through Springfield, they perfectly recreated Springfield. If you're a Simpsons fan, it doesn't matter if you've never played Fortnite before.
Now my son is going to get into this. Like, it's gonna be a problem.
I have deleted and re-downloaded Fortnite.
Yeah, they always do it.
They keep finding different ways to drag you back in because, oh my god, I'm having so much fun walking.
Yeah, I gotta shoot up Springfield.
We bought a K-pop Demon Hunter skin, and now like I have to keep it on for Ember because we bought Zoe. Zoe's awesome. I wanted to buy the whole bundle, but I couldn't justify like $30.
Man, yeah. Was that 35
bucks for like all three? I'm like, okay, no, I can't. Pick one. We're gonna buy one. So so we have Zoe, and now I have to keep the game on. But it's like Zoe in Simpsons land now, so it's like crazy. That game's cool.
All right, that was a little extra bit off the cuff. This has been Comic Book Nation. We are the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of ComicBook.com. Once again, we thank Global Comics for sponsoring this episode. Go check out Global Comics and read some of your favorite comics over there. Thank you guys for tuning in the chat. We appreciate all of you. Jude and Foster, Nin Diego. Shout out to Nin Diego. He's going through it. He's got a kid going into the military soon. We, tease and peace, thoughts and prayers for you, your family, and safety for your son, for your son or daughter who is entering the military. Sir Glean, everybody, all our regulars, Distance Nerding, some of the people we haven't seen, Fire Grill, Jim Stick PA, Bubba Black, everybody in the chat. Thank you for waking up with us. We really appreciate it. You guys being up helps us get up and get that energy up. So go see a movie, go stream a movie, go read a comic, go watch something on TV. Enjoy your fandom. We will be here next week. Comic Book Nation. See you. Peace.
This is...